If you are anything like me and very into the Illuvium ecosystem, then you have seen this screen many, many times where you buy a disc, go in, load it, and then get partying with a new Wave 3 disc. Open it up and see what you find inside. What you might not know is a part of this journey is actually earning as well. And I'm going to show you what that looks like and then explain how you can maximize your performance into earning the most you can from Illuvium Beyond in both the Set 1 and the Wave 3 leaderboard. But first, let's see what I got inside this disc. There's definitely better pulls, but we had a good time. What you also might not know is that these standard discs are really great for finding accessories. They're the same rarity across both different disc types, and so you want to make sure to pull many, many standard discs if you plan on competing during the earning part of Illuvium Beyond. Well, let's take a quick look at that. So if we go over to the leaderboard right here, then we can see that right at the top, as per usual, we have Alexa, who has 3.8 million points. Myself, I've been playing for 3 waves now, and I have 1.7 million points. Now, anyone really could get up to that level pretty easily. I'm missing all the tier 5 stage 3s except Dual F, and I think for $1,000 or $2,000, maybe you could probably buy a lot of the Illuvitars you need. Buying the accessories is a little bit more difficult, but we'll get to that in just a moment. As you scroll down here, you can see all the different players and their points. As we get to me at 85, around the 2 million mark, you get to our position 85. As you keep going lower below the 1 million mark, which is very easy to achieve, you hit about the 147, 150 kind of region, okay? And the earning for this is quite interesting. Whereas in the bottom 101 to 140, which is very achievable on a budget for most players, you would be earning 0.4 ILV every single week, which is $21 or 4 more discs. So just by participating and really getting involved, you can earn 4 more discs every single week playing this. And that's not even to mention the Wave 3 leaderboard. Now, this one's a little bit more challenging, although it only includes Wave 3 Illuvitars. So if you just want to buy Wave 3 discs, then you have a very good shot at competing here. But this is going to be based on a final ILV rewards pool. I think on the conservative side, we're probably looking at a 5,000 ILV pool. In this case, if you were to be, say, top 90, you would earn top 90. You would earn 7 ILV tokens per player, which at current prices is about, oh my god, my maths is dying today. It's $200 and something dollars. Let's just say it's almost $300, I think. Almost $300 at the end of the wave, which is not too bad. To really compete on this, you probably need to spend $1,000 or so you're maybe losing a little bit of money. But this required pool of ILV could probably be a lot higher than this as well. And the token price could even be higher or lower than this as well. We don't know. So there is definitely a chance you could do really well on the Wave 3 leaderboard if you did want to compete. And the key to this is bonding and accessories. You can see all the accessories here from a graphic provided by Illuvitar data. Really, really great. So what you want to focus on is you want to avoid tier 1 and tier 2 accessories, the top 2 rows up there. That being said, the stage 3s aren't too bad. The neon sunglasses, rainbow Illuvium baseball cap, obelisk butterfly tie, the radiating Illuvium badge, and the rainbow piercing all give a 10% buff. Although it's not great, it can be really helpful if you're in a pinch. What we do want to focus on is the stage 3 of the tier 3 and pretty much any of the tier 4s or tier 5s. I'll show you the pricing for them and which items you want to put on which Illuvials, because that is a really important part of the puzzle. But what is bonding? In Illuvium Beyond, you can take an Illuvitar that you have, and we'll go through this process in just a minute. You can take an Illuvitar you have and bond it with up to 5 accessories. These accessories, based on their percentage modifier, will increase the power of that Illuvitar. You might not understand is in the album, you can place an Illuvitar in several different slots at once. Let's take a really quick look at that. So if we go into the album right here and we go into, say, if we have a look at, say, the backgrounds, right? And we go to the token background. You have this Illuvitar right here. I don't know why it says VILV. That's really weird. Okay. So I have my TNT right here that I've slotted into there because here's the background that matches that. What you might not realize is he goes into about 6 different albums at once. He goes into this background album. Depending on how high his power is, he can go to a background album for all 5 of the accessories he has. Then he can also go into one for his line, being TNT, one for the wave and the set, so 2 more right there. And then for all the synergies as well. So in his case, it would be Earth and Scion just. But a lot of them will actually go into 4 different synergy ones. He was just have Earth and Scion, unfortunately. So that is something like 8, I think. 8 different albums he can go into. But here's how the scoring works. If he's 4,000 points and goes into 8 albums, let's say it's 8, then you will get 32,000 points in total. However, if he's 4,000 points and he goes into 4 albums, or he's 10,000 points and he goes into 8 albums, you will get 80,000 points. So here's the strategy, and it's very, very simple. Find an Illuvitar that goes into lots of different albums that you need to complete still, and then give him really good accessories. Bond him to make his power so unbelievably incredible that you're going to maximize the points across all of those albums. Okay, I'll show you how to bond in just a minute. Well, let's take a look at the accessories for just a minute. As I said before, the tier 2 stage 3s are okay, and the tier 3s generally are pretty good. But what I would personally focus on is these tier 4. So I would say you have about 3 or 4 Illuvitars that you get really lucky from like 10 or 15 megadiscs, and you want to bond them. So you're going to want to use these high quality tier 4 accessories to really pull that off, which are about $15 at the baseline, so that can be a little bit pricey. Tier 3 is much, much cheaper. A tier 3 stage 2 will have 11.25 percentage points of power and cost you about $2, which is a really good deal. If we take a look at stage 1, then they're going to have, I think it's 10%, 8.75%. It costs like 15 cents, but that is a really big differential. What you might want instead is one of the tier 2 stage 3s. If I just quickly add that in. The tier 2 stage 3s also come in at about $2, but they're not quite as good as your tier 3 stage 2. So really you want a lot of tier 3s and a couple of tier 4s to really get your power over the line. The tier 5 stage 1s are going to be a little bit more pricey, around the $30 range. And so they're a little bit hard to get into this mix unless you've got some money to spend. But we're really trying to go for budget friendly right here. So these are the accessories right there, and they are a half a decent price. The tier 4 stage 1s even are about $5 and very much worth it. But which Illuvitars should you bond to? The number one rule is to try and bond to your holo Illuvitars. Now I should warn you, a lot of people don't like bonding to their Illuvitars because they do become much, much harder to sell. So you almost need to make the decision of, am I playing for the leaderboard and those juicy rewards and things like that? Or am I trying to sell my Illuvitars in the future or in the near future as well? And you really need to make that decision yourself. Me personally, I don't really have any interest in selling Illuvitars generally speaking. And so I love to bond them all, go for the leaderboard, make some wacky combinations and all that. And you can go purely aesthetic as well. But I'm going to show you how to really optimize the power levels for these Illuvitars. So which Illuvitar should you bond? Because not all Illuvitars were created equal. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, bonding actually has an extra number at the end. So say you have an Illuvitar with 2,000 power, which is basically your base tier 5 stage 3. So your Dualef, your Ramfire, or Fisto, or your Adorius, if they had the most basic background and they weren't holo and they had the common expression, they're about 2,000 power. Now, say you had all 20% accessories, which is the best accessories in the game, and probably going to cost you like $1,000. Let's say you had all of them and you had 5 lots of 20%. Then that would net you 100% in total, and your 2,000 power Illuvitar would go to 4,000 power. However, if you fully bond an Illuvitar with all 5 accessories, you get a 50% bonus on top. And so you go to 4,000 power, and then you get another 1,000 power, and you go to 5,000, which is a really big point. But you only maximize that by having a good base power to start with. Really, anything under 2,000 power, unless it's your only one and you don't think you're going to get any more, you should be kind of avoiding them a little bit, That being said, it's really hard to get anything over 2000 power unless you have it hollow. So that's why bonding hollows does make a lot of sense in this game, even though you might be like, oh, I like them the way they look right now, I don't want to bond them. I totally get that, but really they're the ones you should be prioritizing. If you had to go for a secondary order effect, anything over about 1700 or 1800 power, since your accessory is going to average about 60% overall with the 50% bonus, your 1800 power is going to go to something like 3600. But really, after you finish bonding, you want to get them over that 4000 power threshold. You need to start with a 2000 power Illuvitar to be able to accomplish that. But what has 2000 power? If we have a look down the lines here, you can see all the names of the Illuvitars on the left, and then we can see what their power is at for different things. And we're not really going to look at the backgrounds here. They impact the power as well, but we're going to focus on the expression and whether they're hollow or not. We can see that a rare hollow dual with a rare expression is going to be 3000 powers. That's really at the high end, but where we're really looking for this cutoff of 2000 power, your common hollow for your tier 4 stage 2 is going to be over 2000 power, so they're really, really good. You've also got the same thing for your tier 3 stage 3, and then when your uncommon expression, you're going even lower into your tier 3 stage 2 is getting just over 2000 power. Now your rare expression hollows are pretty much always going to be over 2000 power for all the lynxes. That's why bonding the lynxes is so damn good, and you're really going to want to use, since you get so many of them, and many of them are hollow, and even the hollow ones are about 1800 power, you're going to want to bond as many lynxes as you can for a bunch of different albums. All of your really good background albums. Make sure you're doing a mix of different accessories to maximize that as well. And then you're also going to want to do the same for all of your tier 4 and tier 5 alluvials, which are sitting at around 2000 power naturally. So let's jump into the bonding system. If we go back to the album here and you click your profile in the top right hand corner, you can see all of your Illuvitars. And this is how I like to sort through them before I start bonding. Basically, I'll go and I'll select Illuvitars right here in the filtering menu. You can see that above my head. Select Illuvitars right there. And then because I'm mostly going for the wave 3 leaderboard, I'm focusing on wave 3 Illuvitars. And so I'll just click the little filter for wave 3 right here. And the last step is you can actually sort by power right up in the top right hand corner here. It's that little double arrow thing right there. And you click that and you go from highest power. Now what you want to do is you want to find Illuvitars that you have not bonded yet and maybe have differences. So for example, I've bonded this Scoriox on my wave 3 thing. And so since he already has, I think that's the stage 2 background, you'll get familiar with them. I think that's the stage 2 background on Scoriox. I do actually want to avoid that for future bonds, which I did not do for this Rake or this Stoic Lynx, but the Scoriox was a special exception. But basically like this background with the hollow door, I don't know if I have that set up right yet. You can see from all my bonds I've done recently, I don't seem to have that except for maybe on this Raging Eurypterus, the Charged Flare I have here. And this Adore here has a background that's quite rare and difficult to come across. So that is a really good candidate for bonding. Now, you guys are probably going to be mad about me bonding Adore, but we're doing it because that's a pretty rare Illuvitar with a very rare background. And so I'm about to kill its value very, very nicely. And I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so after that, we want to go through all of the different equipment. Now, you can sort here, but it defaults to highest multiplier, and you don't really need anything beyond that. For the case of things, I do have some personal preferences. I like using meme glasses on things that are hollow, or just generally matching them up to what I like. But really, you want to make sure you do at least tier 4s on something like a tier 5 Illuvitar, especially when I know with this one, it's going to go into so many different collections. Stage 3s, it's a bit better because you sometimes get 2 extra collections on top of it. But for the Adore, I absolutely love this Illuvitar, and I'm just going to go really hard because I want it to look really great. Adore with a fedora would look really, really silly, although I think I'm going to do it for the purpose of this video. As we look at the bodywear, we've got the neck chain and the collars. I don't ever put an amulet of the wrong stage on an Illuvitar. And so really the Obelix butterfly is kind of all I've got left right here, but really I should be putting I'm going to put the carbon quantum collar, and I'm going to show you just how much the power will boost up. Next up, we've got some of these. Adore with a cigar just seems really out of place, but we're going to do it anyways, just for the purpose of showing all tier 4 stage 1 accessories. And the last tier 4 stage 1 accessory I've got is the plain band-aid. I'm going to put all of them, going to keep it real consistent for this Adore. And that is a ridiculous looking deer. But as you can see here, it started off at 2058 power. You can see that right on the left here, 2058. And then between this stuff, we got a lot of bonuses. So the Illuvitar was 1389, the background huge at 669. Power, the accessories are going to grant me 2,315.25. 5 times 12.5 is 62.5 plus 50% is 112.5 or whatever it is. On top of the power we had brings us to 4,300. So anything over 4,000 is really solid. Anything over 5,000 is really what is great to aim for. It's very achievable with some of your really good holo lynxes. I have quite a few of them. They're going to really help you out. But this is what our Adore is going to look like, and we are going to bond it up. Then we're going to really quickly show you how kind of the album factors into this. It takes a little while sometimes, and it takes a little while to add to your wallet as well. Don't worry, because it burns all these assets and then it mints a whole new asset. Really cool though, because you can see all the old assets on chain and stuff as well. You can see them in the burn address and things. They still kind of exist, but not really. All right, so we return to our assets. So we go to the Beyond sale events right up here, and then we go to the album section. You'll notice that I think I had Adore sleeved in different places. And so it will actually unsleeve them and tell me where I can now place my Adore. What you need to consider is it won't actually replace some of those other elements that I had. Let's show you an example. So if we go to accessories right here, so you kind of need to remember what you just did. But if we go to accessories right here and we go all the way to meme glasses, my Adore ended up at about 4,500. And we have a look at the standard black meme glasses. This Illuvitar is 4,600, so it's higher than my Adore. But even if my Adore was higher, it would not automatically replace this. It won't give you any notifications for it or anything whatsoever. You do need to go through and manually check a bunch of this stuff when you do get the chance to do some of this bonding. What we can take a look at is if we look for Adore, maybe that works. Nope. Probably if I type elk. Nope. Oh, it's come in the accessories section. There we go. If I click elk, we can go in and see these different things. It might not have updated because it had a different Illuvitar there to begin with because I had set it in the past. So if something's set in that spot, it's not going to notify you. But if I took this Adore and bonded it, it would remove it automatically because I used this Adore, and it would tell you to resleeve it. So you really do need to double check with a lot of this stuff. So I just click replace. I put this Adore in instead, and I just upped my score by over 2,000. But as I do that across the nature line, the empath line, the elk lines, what I just did, set 1, wave 3, did I say nature and empath already? The tier 4 background, there's so many different things. Like we can probably even figure out the background right now. Background, Nexus. I don't know if it's a stage 1 or a stage 2 background. I think it's a stage 2. No? No? It's one of these ones. I think it's probably this one. All right, it's buggy out of me. We're going to have to leave it there. But anyways, I hope you guys learned something about bonding in Illuvium Beyond. Wow, that's a mouthful. Please check out this video up next on just how much you can earn from Illuvium Beyond Wave 3.